So as you see in your handout, today we're going to discuss the topic, the yoga of the Supreme Person. In Sanskrit, this chapter is called Purushottama Yoga. Just like 12th chapter is called Bhakti Yoga, this chapter is called Purushottama Yoga. Or Yoga Purushottama, that Srila Prabhupada has translated as Yoga of the Supreme Person. Purushottama means Yoga of the Supreme Person. So why is this chapter called the Purushottama Yoga? Because in this chapter, we are going to understand our relationship with the Supreme Lord. Yoga means connecting. Purushottama means Krishna. So we are going to understand our relationship. Where are we? Where is God? And what is our relationship with God? And how God is Purushottama. How is the Supreme Person? So in a way, this gives a very good summary and basis for devotion to Krishna. It's a very important chapter. So this is one of the smallest chapters. The 12th chapter has 20 verses and this chapter also has 20 verses. So these are the two chapters, small chapters. All other chapters in Bhagavad Gita has more than 20 shlokas. So now we shall start today's chapter by reading what all there in the session. Okay. In the last chapter, in the 14th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, we understood about three modes of material nature. What are the three modes? Sattva guna and Tamo gunas. Yes, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. And we also understood how they work, what is the effect of those, and how they bind us in the material world, and how to come out of the effects of the three modes. We understood these things. So this chapter is about understanding how these three modes are binding us and how the Supreme Lord, the Purushottama, can help us to what action we supposed to take to come out of that effect. Okay. So that is Purushottama Yoga. So let us start with the first verse of the chapter. Okay. Before that, let us look into the summary table. First section is from the material world to spiritual world. Transforming ourselves. Presently, where are we? Are we in the spiritual world or are we in the material world? We are in the material world. To transport ourselves to the spiritual world, what should be done? Detachment and surrender. And the second section is how the soul transmigrates from one body to another body. What we can see, what we can't see. Third section is appreciating Lord Krishna's position as our maintainer in this world. Fourth section is summary of the Vedas and Vedanta. So we get summary here. And the last section is knowing Lord Krishna means knowing everything. So this is what we're going to discuss today. And let us start with the first verse. All of you open in your book, first shloka of the 15th chapter. Please repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Urdhvamulam adhashakam. Ashwattam prahuravyayam. Chandamsi yasya purnani Yastam Veda Saveda Ved. Lord said, there is a banyan tree which has its roots upwards, its branches down, and those leaves are the Vedic hymns. And one who knows this tree is the knower of the Vedas. You can see here in the PPT. There is a tree. Suppose you see a tree on the bank of a lake. You see the tree, actual tree. You also see the tree reflecting on the water, surface of the water, isn't it? How is the reflection? Reflection is the inverted tree, isn't it? Where the tree branches and all downwards, the root is upward. So we see like that. Now, what it is the real tree. This is a analogy explained by Krishna. There is a tree that is the spiritual world. The reflection of that is material world. Meaning, all that you see, there are so many varieties of real happiness, varieties of activities happening, real activities happening. Reflection of that happens in the material world. So now the tree, this is further explained now. What are this tree? What is branch means? What is leaf means? So that is very interesting. The next shloka, if you see, a tree with its branches down and roots upward is the reflection of the real tree in the water. So, nourished by the three modes of material nature. Now, this regular tree requires water for growing. This analogy tree, the food for the tree is three gunas, three modes of material nature. And then the twigs are the objects of the senses. The twigs in the tree are compared to objects. What are the objects of the senses? Touch, taste, smell, form, sound. These are the senses and sense object, isn't it? Now, sense objects are enjoyment for senses. So the twigs, if the inverted tree is compared to material world, the twigs of the tree are like sense objects. Then this tree also has roots going down. These are bound to the fruitive actions of the human society. So there are so many branches in the tree, so many leaves in the tree, and so many twigs in the tree. So that is explained like this. This indicates the presence of the real tree which is in the spiritual world. Reflection is a replica of the original, which implies material world. The material what we see is nothing but replica of the spiritual world. Somebody is in this tree, they go from one branch to another branch and don't find the real root at all. That is what getting lost in the material world. Like we change from one body to another body. Now we are in the human body. Next life we might get human body and may not get human body also. We don't know. Based on our action, the next body is decided. So changing body is like going to another root, another branch. In those branches also there are many twigs. We enjoy those twigs, some fruits, go to the next branch, go to the next branch. And in Alada Mara, the banyan tree, it actually have a shoots, isn't it? One is main the trunk of the tree, and it also keeps dropping and it becomes like a root. Have you seen the banyan tree? So those shoots are compared to furthermore fruitive actions. Means more and more we do actions to enjoy our selfish things, we create more and more karma bondage in this material world. Reaction for that, good or bad. Means new shoots we keep creating. Tree is going on expanding. This tree is so unlimited, we get stuck in the tree. And that tree itself, there is a Vedic hymns also. What is Vedic hymns actually? Vedic hymns are actually, which does not talk about liberation. Those part of the Veda, fruitive part of the Veda. All those things are in the tree. Now I'll read the next verses. You'll get more clarity as we go. Okay. Now we are stuck in this tree, jumping from one branch to another branch and enjoying many twigs and fruits. And some leaves are compared to Vedas, which gives the knowledge for us how to enjoy more. Vedas also give. In the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, it is said, Mamimam pushpitam vacham. The Vedas actually give very, very flowery language, very nicely it explains, if you worship like this, if you do like this, you will get this benefit, that all material benefit. That means we still get stuck to the tree itself. We are not able to go out of this tree, we get stuck. Now Krishna is saying, if you want to come out of this, in the verse number 3 and 4, the real form of this tree cannot be perceived in this world. What we are seeing is only the reflection of the tree. Means in the spiritual world, there are varieties. We have varieties in this world. Varieties of food, varieties of relationships, father-mother relationship, child-father-parents relationship, grandfather-grandchildren relationship, varieties of food, varieties of emotions, anger, happiness, anxiety, various emotions also there. So all this is actually makes us to point, this is originally, this all there in us, originally in the spiritual world, in the pure form, that is a real tree. In the material world, that is actually mixed with the sattva, rajas, tamas. Example is, in the spiritual world, Krishna and Krishna's devotees, or Vishnu and Vishnu's devotees, are bonded with love. The love is in pure form of attraction. The purest form of attraction is the pure love. When that is reflected in the material world, that love becomes lust. So lust is also attraction. So lust is the impure form of attraction. Love is the pure form of attraction. So in the spiritual world there is love. Material world there is lust. Same love, when it reflects, becomes lust. Prema becomes kama in the material. That is why it's called reflection. Reflection means what? What is the top of the tree? It will be appearing bottom of the tree here in the reflection. Ulta, isn't it? The love for God is the highest in the spiritual world. Love is experienced as the highest enjoyment. Lust is very abominable in the material world. It's not considered to be very great. Even animals have lust. Nothing great about it. So you see, this is called reflection. So in that reflection, we are stuck in this tree. How to come out of this? There are two things. One is called detachment. Let us read this translation. So the original tree cannot be perceived in this world. No one can understand this tree, where the material world, where it ends, where it begins, where its foundation is. It's a too big tree, we can't make out. Just like when you go to the center of the ocean, you can't make out which side I should go. How big it is. Like that, no, people cannot understand. Jiva cannot understand. But with the determination, one must cut down this tree with a weapon of detachment. To cut the tree, we need some axe, some weapon. What is the weapon required to cut down this tree? Which tree? The tree of the material world. That weapon is called Vairagya, the detachment. So doing, one must seek that place from which, having once gone, never returns. So by cutting that attachment to this world, this tree, one goes to the place which is the permanent residence of all the souls. That is called Vaikunta, or the spiritual world. For that, detachment is also required, attachment also required. What attachment? Detachment from the material things, attachment to Krishna's lotus feet. Means surrendering to Krishna. We should give up the attachment here, we should develop the attachment to the lotus feet of the Lord. So this is the process called detachment and surrender to Krishna. So further it is read here. One never returns. There surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, from whom everything has begun, in whom everything is abiding since time immemorial. One reaches there. The process of surrenderance is explained in the verse number 5. Nirmama moha jita sanga dosha adhyatma nitya vinivritta kamaha. So this is here very nicely put in the presentation also. One who is free from illusion. Process of surrender. Surrender means what? Is it some simply go and express some emotion? Oh Krishna, I am surrendered to you now. I don't know anything else other than you. Is it that simple? Let us see here. One is free from the false prestige and pride. Which is free from the pride. Free from the illusion, Maya. Moh Maya. Then free from false association. Means free from the association of the materialistic things. Free from the dualities. Sukha, dukkha, heat, cold, happy, unhappy. This is called dualities. Free from dualities. One who understands the eternal, what is permanent, beyond the time. Eternal means there is no time. That is Atma. Done with the material lust. One who is unbewildered. Then he will be able to surrender to the Supreme Person. So this is a process here. It is explained to surrender. So further it is explained like this. What is the quality of the spiritual world? Please, verse number 6, open in your book. Verse number 6. Let us chant this. Means quality of the original tree. We are stuck in the replica tree. You have to cut down that replica tree with the axe of detachment, Vairagya, and surrender to Krishna. Then we go to the original tree. And what is the quality of the original tree? For that, this sloka explains. Na tad bhashayate suryo na shashanko na pavakaha yad gatva na nivartante Tadhama paramam mama. Very beautiful. Lord Krishna is saying, Yad gatva na nivartante. One who goes to that spiritual world, he never comes back to the material world. No more suffering, no more miseries, no more mrityu samsara. All these are not there. Is liberated from this. And what is that world? That world is Taddhama Paramam Mama. That is the supreme planet of mine. Lord Krishna is saying, it is my planet, my world. That is Krishna's. Called Goloka Vrindavana, or Krishna Loka, or Vaikuntha Loka. Okay. And what is the quality there? Na tad bhashayate shuryo na shashanko na pavakaha. The supreme abode of mine is not illuminated by sun or moon. Without sun we cannot survive, isn't it, in this planet now? You know, sometimes in Mangalore, when there is heavy rainy season, 15-20 days no proper sunlight. What happens at our home? Everywhere the fungus will grow. Imagine if the sun goes off for 6 months. I think in one week, if the sun does not rise, people will die out of various diseases, isn't it? So it's lit by sun and moon. But in the spiritual world, is not lit by sun and moon. They're self-effulgent. Does not require sun and moon. Nor by fire or electricity, pavakaha. There is no fire, electricity, there is no sun, no moon. It's a beautifully glowing planet by itself is a spiritual world. It's a self-illuminous, and their shining effulgence is called Brahma Jyoti. Actually, that is the effulgence. People say the impersonal, God is light and all they say. Actually, this light is simply a shining of the spiritual world. They don't know behind the shining there is Krishna Loka. Very important. If somebody sees only sunshine and says that I understood what sun is, it is a shining object. That is very limited understanding of the sun. If you want to really know more detail of the sun planet, you have to study. That's why people go to Antarctica and there they can watch sun continuously for 6 months. They study. Scientists go there and study what is actually sun planet. They try to study it. Of course, they can't really understand. Then they say this is what this many years sun planet is old and this many more years it will make you light. And how is the light is emanating. They try to do some research. But for the layman, it is simply a ball of fire. Maybe some tribes in the forest maybe think it's a ball of fire. They don't know about it. So, those who have half knowledge, not complete knowledge of the absolute truth, God, they say God is light. This light is coming from where? Self-illuminous planet called spiritual world. That spiritual world is Taddhama Paramam Mama. Krishna is saying that is my planet. You're only seeing light, but I am there. My devotees are there. Just like you see the variety in the reflection. If there is a variety in the material world, in this place, should it not varieties be there in the spiritual world also? Is it simply light? No, there is also variety. But that variety is an absolute variety, like a lust compared to lust and love. Everything is in a pure form. Happiness is in its pure form. Time is in its pure form. Our existence is in the pure form. It's a full of bliss planet. There's no question of unhappiness. Satchidananda. Sat Chit Ananda is the existence of the spiritual planet. So this is the quality of the spiritual world, the original tree. So now we understood original tree and replica tree. Now we are going to go understand how the soul is transmigrating from. So actually we all belongs to that spiritual world. And we have come to the reflection. After coming to the reflection of the spiritual world called material world, we are changing bodies and keep on struggling, moving to one body to another. One life, one situation we have come across. We do some karma, some actions. Based on our action, next life another kind of situation will come. But every situation is ultimately not the full happiness. It's only little happiness, little unhappiness, mixture of all those things, and temporary. It ends. Our body grows old, our relationships fade away, our wealth diminishes or increases. All this, the fluctuations of the material world goes on happening. Now that is what Krishna is saying in the next section. What is happening in the material world. Okay. Chant this verse, 7th verse. Verse number 7. Mamaivamsho jivaloke jivabhutah sanatanaha manah shashtani indriyani prakritisthani karshati. You see what Lord Krishna is saying? The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Mamaiva, mama, eva, amshaha. Mama means mine, eva only, amshaha, my amsha. Who is Krishna's amsha? You. You are Krishna's amsha, Lord Krishna's amsha. Mamaiva amshaha jivaloke. And what you are? You are a permanent living being. You are not temporary to this body and circumstances and situations of the life which you are presently going through. That's the present circumstances. It will change. Just like a train journey. You go, get into the train. You get in one station, get into train, you will have some friends, fellow passengers, you strike conversation with them. Whenever their stop comes, they get down. When your stop comes, you get down. And you eat what you carry, they eat what they have. But life moves on. You have to get down and then go and then may take another train. Another new set of fellow passengers you'll get. New set of circumstances, situations you'll get. Is it not? So, the life is like that. Who you are? You are amsha of Lord Krishna. Can you imagine what is your power? You are amsha of Lord Krishna. You are not an ordinary person. And what you are sanatana. You are permanent. Don't worry about the transient nature. Something has gone from your hand, something you got, something you did not get in this life. I had a desire like this. Don't worry. You are a permanent being. Lord Krishna is observing what are your ichha, desires. He is keen to fulfill your ichha, the desires. He is very keen. But he also wants to see that you end this suffering. That is the next. Mana shashtani indriyani prakrite sthane karshati. The living entities in the conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the 6 senses which include the mind. 5 senses plus mind is 6. They are struggling. So this is a concern of Lord Krishna because we are his parts. He has some claim on us. So hence he is worried, he is concerned. Are you are struggling. Manashashtani indriyani prakritistani karshati. You are struggling, karshati, in the material world. So next he says, how does this, what happens next? Please chant 8th verse. Shariram yad avapnoti yachapi uktramatishvaraha grihitvaitani samyati Vayur gandhani vashayat. So how do we go from this body to next body? When this body becomes no more useful for staying, we switch to next body. Either by the old age or by some accident, cut off some parts which you cannot function back, important part of the body, organ failures. So like this, then when this is no use, suppose your car is no more use, then you have to sell it and get new car. So the death is nothing but change of the body. You get new body. So living entity in the material world carries its different conceptions of life from one body to another as the air carries the aroma. Very important verse to know something very interesting, okay, which science cannot answer. The modern science cannot answer this. What is that? Why you are where you are, how you are today. You have certain likings. You have certain dislikings. Your body is being built in certain way. Why is it so? We had one couple, they had twins. They have twins. When these twins were very young, both are boys, his father, this couple told me, my one son is, because both in twins means they same parents, same relatives, same home, same care, same parenting, same food, mostly same kind of clothes, everything is same they get, isn't it? He says, his one son is very charitable. If any beggar he happens to see or comes into the doorsteps of the home, he goes and searches for some money in drawer and pockets, my father's shirt pocket, and picks up and goes and drops to the beggar's bowl. And other son is contrary to that. He will go and take from the beggar's bowl and bring it inside the home. So, from where this nature is coming? Somebody is very scared of the water, They say, no, near water I cannot go. Someone is very scared of blood. If they see blood, they faint. Some people like that. They see blood, they faint by seeing the blood. Some people have the phobia of height. If they anywhere height place, they cannot go. From where this is coming? Is it taught in the school? Is it taught by parents? Important question to ask. Science may say, this is a DNA, RNA, this combination, those things. Why that combination happened, that you tell me. What is the cause? Here is the answer. The living entity in the material world carries its different conceptions of life from one body to another as the air carries the aroma. This is coming from our past experience, conceptions. I have built upon this. That's why by birth I have certain likes and dislikes. As my memory and consciousness formed in my body, I have something I like and something I don't like. Is Purva Janma. There's a connection to the past life. So like air carries the aroma, the body is left, the air is carrying the aroma. Like that, the Atman, our soul, will also carry its conceptions of life, experience of memory it may drop, Because memory, if it carries, it comes with the emotions. Sometimes people ask this question, why I don't remember my previous life? For some people, God gives memory very rarely. If we remember our past life, actually it becomes trouble for us. Memory comes with the emotion. Like you think of your this life. You are somebody very, very loving, you love someone. You are emotionally connected to somebody. You like something which is something very close to your heart. Your emotions, you have so many emotions apart from the memory. Memory leads to emotions. Imagine if all these emotions of previous life comes here. There is a documentary of one boy remembering his past life. If possible, we will share in your WhatsApp group. So he remembers at the age of 3 or 4, he started telling. We had a home next to the big tree, neem tree. There was the home, there is my wife, and I was a farmer. One day I was driving the tractor. My friend killed me. This happened. He tells all those things. He tells the name, he tells the village. Then out of curiosity, they took him. It was about 30 kilometers away. Boy has never seen. As he rightly said, he only shown the path. Go here, take right, take left. And there is a tree. There is a house. When he saw his wife has become old woman now. His son is 60 years old. And he is now 6 years old in this life. His so-called son of previous life has grown 60 years old. And he has a grandchild. And he was crying, seeing them. He gave some money to the grandchild. And they were also shocked. Who is this person came like this suddenly. Then the person who was making documentary was asking question to him. How is your life? He said, it's very difficult. Present parents are unhappy. Because for him, this boy is saying, you are not my parents. And those parents also unhappy. Some stranger is coming and saying, you are my wife. He's stuck. Half emotion there, half emotion here. So, that is at least human being. Imagine if a person was dog in his previous life. Or cat in his previous life. If the memory comes, he may start eating rats. So these all are problems. That is why, what does Lord do? Lord makes us forget the memory. Makes us forget this. Now in this chapter it will come. Lord is the one who makes us to remember, forget everything. But our desires are carried through different conceptions of life. Likes, dislikes. So it is carried to the next body, like the air carries the aroma. It is said, the living entity, thus taking another gross body, obtains a certain type of ear, tongue, nose, sense of touch, which are grouped about the mind. He thus enjoys a particular set of sense objects. Very clear, isn't it? Our mind is the one who says which is nice and which is not nice. Tongue is same. All of our tongue is same, but somebody feels this is tasty, another person says this is not tasty. Eyes are same, the mechanism eyes working is same. But I say this is beautiful, you say that is beautiful. That means all these senses are connected to mind. From the mind the dictation is coming, this is good, this is not good. You see the Chinese, they eat cockroaches, they keep eating. They feel nice. Just like you eat some papad, they'll be eating So their tongue is, mind is dictating, this is tasty. So Krishna is saying, the senses are actually grouped about the mind. So the mind will decide, because mind is carrying the previous life's experience and conceptions. That is why we are born with certain likes and dislikes. So then, thus he enjoys a particular set of sense objects. Particular set of sense objects he likes. Not everything he likes. Something he likes, something he does not like. Based on the past. Okay. Now Krishna says, the foolish cannot understand how the living entity can quit his body, nor can they understand what sort of body he enjoys under the spell of the mode of nature. But one whose eyes are trained in knowledge can see all these things. Vimudha nana pashyanti jnana chakshushaha. Now by attending Bhagavad Gita class, what you are getting is jnana chakshuhu. Jnana chakshu means eyes of knowledge. Now you are able to hear and perceive these things because you got eyes of knowledge. But the fools who do not have this knowledge, they cannot understand this. So they cannot know how the living beings are quitting the present body, what form of the body is going to take in the next life, why is living in a particular type of body, they cannot see. The person who is trained in the knowledge, he can see this very clearly. How? Hearing from Bhagavad Gita and other scriptures from a bona fide guru, the spiritual master. Yatato yoginaschainam pashyanti atmani avistitam. The endeavoring transcendentalist who is situated in self-realization can see all this clearly. But those who are not situated in self-realization cannot see what is taking place through, though they may try to do. Those who have this proper knowledge, proper yoga, proper parampara knowledge from bona fide spiritual master, they can see this. Those who are simply, that this is a yoga societies, they practice yoga. What does the yoga means in today's understanding? Yoga is meant for good health, longevity. We do yoga asanas, we call yoga. I do yoga every day. Why are you doing the yoga, sir? They say, so that I can live long. I can have peace of mind. Peace of mind and living long and healthy life is ultimately one body only, no? One material body. One day you have to give up that and go to next body. It becomes proper yoga when we use those yogasanas to keep ourselves healthy and peace of mind, to do sadhana, the spiritual practices. That is why yogis were doing yogasanas. They have to sit at one place and meditate, isn't it? If they're sitting at one place and chanting the holy name of the Lord, they're not getting exercises to the body. Then what to do? Do yogasana. Suppose they have to live in a very cold atmosphere without much warm clothes. They have certain yoga, pranayama process to heat up their body. In the hot season, they have certain process to cool their body. So all this process of yogasanas are actually meant for utilizing it for next higher purpose of achieving the God. That's called Ashtanga Yoga. Yama, niyam, asan, pranayam, pratyahara. So, yam, niyam, asana, pranayama. One has to follow all these processes. This is Ashtangas, 8 angas of the Ashtanga Yoga system. Now, what we are doing in the modern society is taking only one anga, asana from that, and taking the material benefit of it, using it for this life to enjoy more and more through the senses. And what is the end result? Nothing. You only kept ourselves healthy. So that you can also go to gym for that. Let's say some prefer to go to gym, some prefer to do yoga. They say if you do yoga, you may not build muscle so much. Better go to gym. Correct. If your goal is to build muscles and keep you healthy, what your statement is correct. The purpose of yoga is actually Self-realization is explained. Self-realization is very important. That is the purpose of the yoga. Okay, now we are going to end of this section. Unless one attains the spiritual world, he must continually take repeated births in many species of life through the process of transmigration. The conditioned soul is covered by the material body, will get the spiritual body after liberation in an individual capacity. Go to the next section. Now appreciating Krishna's position, Purushottama. We'll hear more about Purushottama in this section. So you understood till now clearly? Look at the table, 1 to 6 spiritual world and material world, and how the tree reflection. Second section is transmigration of living entities. Now we're going to third, appreciating Lord Krishna's position as our maintainer in this world. Okay. Lord Krishna is the source of light. The splendors of the sun which dissipates the darkness of this whole world comes from me. So how does sun planet get the power to emanate light? It is coming from Lord Krishna. And the splendors of the moon and the splendors of the fire are also from me. So Lord has claimed both. So everything is coming from Him. Then He enters to each planet. I enter into each planet and my energy, they stay in the orbit. The earth planet is on its orbit. Little bit it changes, what will happen? All of us will die, isn't it? No? Little different from here to Antarctica. What is the weather there? Nobody can stay there permanently. Little bit. So little bit is if the earth planet drifts from its orbit, we are finished. But Lord is ensuring that the earth is rotating, it's in orbit. And we are claiming, we are so much scientifically advanced and we don't care for the Lord. We are not able to, can you launch on a planet like Earth? Small rockets we are launching, some satellite we are launching to see how big is the Earth. Something we launch for moon, it does not reach there. Something we try to go to other planet, we are not able to. So small, insignificant. But Lord is ensuring Earth is on its orbit. I become the moon, thereby supply the juice of life for all vegetables. Actually, the moonlight supplies the juice for the vegetables and fruits. Without proper moonlight, these vegetables and fruits will not have taste. That's why newly modern grown vegetables, fruits and all say not tasty, isn't it? You know why? They all grow in a polyhouses. They make a plastic tent, it's called polyhouse. Commercially they grow, they inject chemicals to make it more and more and more. And they find a hybrid plant. And it is not absorbing the moonlight's benefit. And it is not tasty. So all fruits taste the same only now. Like cucumber. Isn't it? Papaya is also like cucumber. And cucumber also like cucumber. So there is no taste for fruits. We say, at least our generation can know. Because we know fruits were tasty once upon a time. The next generation probably they will not know. They will think fruits means like this only. Only smell is different. The taste is same, they think. Probably. So because moon is giving the fruits juice. Okay, then. Krishna is the digestion fire. I am seated in everyone's heart. Okay, 14th verse. I am the fire of the digestion in every living body. And I am the fire, air of life, outgoing and incoming, by which I digest the 4 kinds of foodstuffs. What you have eaten today in the lunch For the digestion to happen, there is a Agni. It's called Vaishwanara. Agni in our stomach, which burns, which actually produces heat and maintains our body. Krishna is saying, I am that digestive Agni. If you go to Ayurvedic doctor, digestion is not good. They say fire is not good. Then they give some medicine to increase the stomach's fire, Vaishwanara. So, that is Aham Vaishwanaro Bhutva. I am the fire of digestion in every living body. So this is Purushottama's position. Glories. Appreciating Krishna's position. Next verse, I was telling, no, Krishna makes us to remember, forget everything. Here it is a verse. Please repeat. Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto. Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto. Mattah smritirjnanam apohanam cha. Smritirjnanam apohanam cha. Vedescha sarvair ahameva vedyo. Vedanta krit vedavit eva chaham. Once again. Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto. Matta smritirjnanam apohanam cha. Vedescha sarvair ahameva vedyo. Vedanta krit vedavid eva chaham. I am seated in everyone's heart. Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto. You are not only Amsha of Lord Krishna, Lord Krishna is also seated in your heart. How great Lord is. He is with you. And mattaha smritihi jnanam apohanam cha. What is he doing? Being seated? From him comes the remembrance. If you have to remember something, Lord has to make us remember. If you have to get some knowledge, the Lord has to give you the knowledge. If you're forgetting something, that is also cause of the Lord. Like sometimes we forget something. We try our best. After that, if you forget, it's Lord who is making us think, making us remember. Like, there is a story of Bhasmasura. In Yakshagana you would have seen. He wanted to test on Lord Shiva's head whether the boon is working. Anybody he touches, he will become ash. Isn't it? Then what happens? The Vishnu comes in the form of a dwarf, small Brahmana. And he so wonderfully he speaks. And he says, you should not believe this Lord Shiva. I doubt that he really mean what he gave you boon. It may not work. No, Lord Shiva has promised it. No, you try. So, when Vishnu said you try, he tried. So he forgot, in case if it works, I am going to die. That he did not think. How did it happen? Because from Krishna the remembrance comes. Knowledge comes.
There's another story where she comes and she dances. Vishnu comes in the form of a beautiful Mohini. And she dances, and then keeps her hand on her head. So he has to do exactly what she does.
Yeah, there may be another story of that. Yes. Actually, what happens, you should know this. You see, this kind of leelas happen in multiple times in different yugas. Okay. So, some Puranas record from one kalpa, another Purana records in another Kalpa. It's not actually contradictory. It is the instances of the different situations and circumstances. Bhagavata tells one story, Vishnu Purana, Shiva Purana tells another story. Of different situations, they cover these things. So the Lord, whoever it is, whoever made him touch, but finally the Lord made him forget that if at all, if I have a power to burn somebody, if at all, if there is some truth is there, then I am going to die. That thinking he has lost. So this is one example. Like that, we see many situations, circumstances. The Lord, Matta Smriti Jnanam Apohanam Cha. The Lord is the cause of our remembrance, knowledge and forgetfulness in us. That is why it's called Purushottama. Then what else? Next two sentences are even more important. Vedescha sarvair ahameva vedyo vedanta krit vedavit eva chaham. Indeed, I am the compiler of Vedanta, I am the knower of the Vedas, and by all the Vedas, I am to be known. After studying all the Vedas, if one does not understand God or Lord Krishna, that means he has not understood the essence of the Vedas. Because Vedescha sarvair aham eva vedyam. I am Vedyam. Vedyam means I am to be known. From where? Vedescha sarve. From all the Vedas, I am to be known. So one should know Krishna, Lord Krishna, after studying all the Vedas. Otherwise, studying of the Vedas may not give the desired result. It may give some fruitive results, like we discussed. If you do this, you will get this. If you want health, you do this. You worship this, you do that. So all those called fruitive. So those things we may get from the Vedas. Only if somebody may practice that. But they may not get the ultimate goal and aim of the Vedas is to know God, Lord Krishna. Then he further says, Vedanta Krit Vedavit. Who has creator of the Vedas? Who has given the Vedas? Vedanta is Lord Krishna. Vedavit, he is the knower of the Vedas. Eva Chaham, me only. I know Veda. I am the creator, the compiler of the Veda. I am the knower of the Veda. From the Vedas, I am to be known. That is why understanding Lord Krishna is the essence of all the spiritual practices. So those who have achieved this, like Narada Rishi, the Narada Rishi achieved this. How did he achieve this? By hearing the glories, Katha, Krishna Katha, he heard in his previous life. Then he received the blessings of the great sages. It comes in Bhagavata. Then he follows their instructions of chanting the holy name. Then he gets Lord Krishna directly. So he became Maharishi by understanding God. So this is the end of this section. Appreciating Krishna's position as our maintainer in this world. So next is 16, 17, 18 is summary of the Vedas and the Vedanta. Okay, the summary of this section is, since living entities are so much attracted to sense gratification, how can they ever appreciate Krishna? So that we understood. So one has to appreciate Krishna. Why? That we understood in the last few verses. Therefore, these verses help them to contemplate how even the sense enjoyment is impossible without the help of the Lord. You want to enjoy, you need vegetables, you need fruits, you need this world, you need sun. Everything is from Purushottama. Everything is coming from God. So next section is summary of Vedas and Vedantas. The verse number 16. Please chant this verse, verse number 16. Dvav imau purushau loke. Dvav imau purushau loke. Ksharashchakshara evacha. Ksharaha sarvani bhutani. Kutastho uchyate. There are two classes of beings, the fallible and infallible, Kshara and Akshara. Kshara means fallible, Akshara means infallible. In the material world, the living entity is fallible. And the spiritual world, every living entity is called infallible. Here we are fallible because we are bound by material modes. We understood in the 14th chapter and 13th chapter what is karma, what is body, what is jnana, etc. Isn't it? We are presently fallible. Kshara means when I think I am this body, today we are thinking we are this body. Hence we are so much focused on entertaining and giving facilities and happiness to this body and mind. So this body is Kshara, fallible. But soul is infallible. That's a soul in the existence in the spiritual world, the real tree, not the reflection tree, the real tree. So there he is, the soul is infallible. There are two, Kshara and Akshara evacha. So living entities are in the condition in the material world are Kshara, liberated in the spiritual world called Akshara. And Kshara living beings are struggling, suffering with the five senses. We have five senses and mind, and we are struggling. Prakriti sthane karshati. And in the material, in the spiritual world, they are not suffering, they are enjoying, they are infallible. Here what happens? Every living being goes to 6 changes. Body, birth, growth, then we live for some time, reproduce, dwindle, and die or vanish. Because 6 changes of every material body in the material world. That's why it's called fallible. But the soul itself in the spiritual world, there is no birth, no old age, no death. Because in the 2nd chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna said, what is the nature of the soul? It never takes birth, never dies. It never can be cut into pieces. It can't be burned by the fire. This is the quality. Now what is God? Purushottama. This chapter is Purushottama Yoga. So what is Purushottama then? That is the next verse. Please chant this. 17th verse. Uttamaha purushastvanyaha paramatmeti udahritaha yo lokatrayam avishya bhibarti avyaya ishvaraha. So besides this Kshara and Akshara, the living being in the material world and spiritual world, there is the greatest living personality, the Lord Himself, who has entered into the worlds and maintaining them. When Krishna comes to this world, He is not Kshara. Our body is Kshara, we become Kshara, fallible. But Lord, does we become Kshara when He comes? No. In the 9th chapter, 11th verse, Krishna says, Avajananti mam mudha manushim tanumashritah. When I come in the form, in the human-like form, they think I am also one among them. But mama bhuta maheshwaraha. Actually, I am the Maheshwara. I am the Supreme Lord. So he is beyond. When he comes here also he is Akshara, in the spiritual world also he is Akshara. But living beings in the material conditioned situation is Akshara. When he is liberated, he is Akshara. But the Lord is beyond this Akshara and Akshara. He is always Akshara. He is a supreme Akshara. He is a Purushottama. But foolish people think, oh, God is also like us. That is why they question God. Why did Krishna did this? Why Krishna is doing that? Oh, Krishna has done this, I will also do that. People are constantly asking, has Rama also eaten meat? Krishna also ate meat. So it's a reference for us to do what God has done. But God is Akshara. What about meat? The entire, you are also inside Krishna's mouth. You are also inside Lord. So that is the position of Krishna or Lord Krishna, the God. So, another example Srila Prabhupada gave is like the jail. The prisoners are in jail for a long time. One day, in our country, even the courts give punishment. The president of the country, our Rashtrapati, has a very special power. Even the capital punishment can be forgiven. That's why capital punishment, if somebody is given to somebody, final letter they try to write to Rashtrapati, President. President can sometimes say, prisoners are in prison for a long time. One day, the president walks inside the prison to see. The foolish prisoners are thinking, oh, now Rashtrapati also is arrested, is it? The president is also in the jail. That's foolishness. The president has come to liberate you from the jail. President is not in jail. Like that, when some Krishna comes, somebody is thinking, Krishna is also like us. He is also struggling. He is also undergoing pain. That's foolishness. Krishna is performing various leela, pastimes to liberate us, relieve us from the suffering, relieve us from the miseries. That is the Purushottama. That is the yoga, Purushottama yoga. That is Lord's position. This one should understand as explained by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita like this. Further he says, Yasmat ksharam atitoham aksharadapi chottamaha. Because I am transcendental beyond both fallible and infallible, because I am the greatest, I am celebrated both in the world and in the Vedas as the Supreme Person. Atosmi loke vedecha pratitaha purushottamaha. Pratitaha Purushottama. Even in the Vedas, I have been celebrated as Purushottama. I am the greatest. Lord is openly saying. See how Lord Krishna himself says, I am God, I am the Supreme, I am the greatest. Now what proof we need? Okay. So this is a section where you understand the summary of Vedas and Vedantas is finally glorifying. The summary of the Vedas and Vedantas are say that Krishna is the Supreme Person. Atosmi loke vedecha pratitaha purushottamaha. Now coming to the last two verses of this chapter, 19 and 20. This is knowing Lord Krishna means knowing everything. Okay, verse number 19. Whoever knows me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead without doubting is to be understood as a knower of everything, and he therefore engages himself in full devotional service, O son of Bharata. Let us chant this wonderful verse, very beautiful verse, 19th verse. Yo mamevam asammudho janati purushottamam sasarva vidbhajati mam Sarva Bhavena Bharata. Please repeat the translation also. Whoever knows me, please repeat. Whoever knows me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead without doubting is to be understood as the knower of everything, and he therefore engages himself in full devotional service, O son of Bharata. Sarva Bhavena Bharata. Sasarva vid bhajati mam. One worships the Lord. He knows Lord is Purushottama. Now the last verse. Iti guhyatamam please chant. Iti guhyatamam shastram idam uktam mayanagha etam bhutva buddhiman syat krita krityascha bharata. So this is the most confidential part of the Vedic scriptures. That is called confidential. Many people read Vedas but they don't get this. That is called confidential. It's the most confidential part of Vedic scriptures. O sinless one, Anagha, and it is disclosed now by me. Now I have told you this secret, confidential knowledge to you. Whoever understands this will become wise and his endeavors will know perfection. Person will become very wise, those who know this, and he will, whatever endeavor that person puts, he will get perfection. Kruta kritascha bharata. So this is the Phalashruti of the 15th chapter. Wonderful chapter, starting with what is material world, what is spiritual world. How does the soul takes birth again, reincarnation happen? How Krishna's position is so great and appreciable, and the summary of Vedas and Vedanta, and knowing Lord Krishna means knowing everything. So this is a wonderful chapter of Purushottama Yoga. We have come to the end of today's chapter.